Widow Cindy talks about late husband Michael Landon's life. Michael Landon is considered to be one of the most legendary actors on television in Hollywood. He rose to fame thanks to his iconic character in Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, but passed away in 1991, age 54, with his wife Cindy Landon by his side. But who was Cindy Landon, and what did she do following the passing of her husband? Michael Landon's portrayal of Charles Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie is one of the most legendary characters in American TV history. The series, based on American children's novels written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, became a huge success, and Michael Landon became, just as his character, a legend. Michael Landon quickly rose to fame in Hollywood, but foremost, it was a meeting at a gas station that changed his life. While working at a gas station near the Warner Bros. Studio in Los Angeles, he caught the attention of talent agent Bob Rayson. He suggested that the up-and-coming actor changed his name to something that would fit the entertainment business letter. It resulted in Eugene Orowitz changing his name to Michael Landon. In 1956, he landed his first role in an episode on the TV series Telephone Time. He also starred as Tom Dooley in the western The Legend of Tom Dooley, which ultimately led to the role of a lifetime, starring as Little Joe Cartwright on the iconic western show Bonanza. The loving American dad role ended up being one of the most long-running characters he played in his life, acting as Little Joe Cartwright for 14 years before the show was cancelled in 1973. The actor moved on to star in the legendary Little House on the Prairie, which ended up being his second longest-running role ever. Hailed by critics and the American people for his performance as Charles Ingalls, Landon was nominated for several prizes, foremost a Golden Globe in 1979 for Best Actor in a Television Drama Series. The show won a total of 4 Emmys and additionally 16 nominations. Following 8 successful seasons, the show moved on to a spin-off called Little House, A New Beginning, 1982, in which Landon didn't star. Even though he stepped off the popular show as an actor, he stayed on as a producer and director. Later, he moved on to star as Jonathan Smith in Highway to Heaven, which also gave him legendary status. In 1984, Michael Landon was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He also won the Bronze Wrangler Award, also known as the Western Heritage Awards, which honor artistic contributions in television, music, film, and literature. Landon was married 3 times, fathering a total of 9 children. He wed his first wife, Dodie Levy Fraser, with the couple having 2 children together. He got married to his second wife, Lynn No, in 1963 and had 4 children. 19 years later, when the couple divorced, he met the love of his life in Cindy Landon, whom he married a year later. They walked down the aisle on February 4, 1983, but their loving relationship and marriage tragically ended in 1991. Michael Landon was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 1991. He passed away just 3 months later, at the age of 54. At the time of the diagnosis, Landon was about to star in another series called Us. In an interview with People, his family spoke about his last days. Wife Cindy said that after Michael Landon shared the news about his cancer, everyone was devastated. "I could feel every nerve in my body," Chris, one of his sons with Cheryl Lynn, said, "like it was all lit up." Landon underwent chemotherapy and adopted an organic lifestyle involving a vegetarian diet and acupuncture. However, in just a month, the tumor on his pancreas had doubled in size. The doctor shortly afterwards said that the cancer had spread to his liver. "I was the father, and he was the son. I had to help him up the stairs. I am sad sometimes, when I think that I never said, sorry. I never looked at him and told him that I was sorry he was losing his life," Chris recalled in an interview with People in 1992. The last month of his life, wife Cindy and Michael had to start preparing their children for what was to come. They started reading a book called Butterflies, and Michael explained that his body would be like a cocoon, with his spirit being a butterfly looking down on them. At the end of June, a nurse visiting their house said that he only had a day to live. Cindy called the children who rushed to the ranch. They had to make their goodbyes to a beloved father and husband. In the afternoon of July 1st, 1991, Michael Landon passed away, with Cindy by his side. His last words were, "I love you." "I think it was watching him go through the whole process that prepared her," Leslie Landon, daughter of Lynn No, said in an interview with People. Widow Cindy Landon, now 63, made sure her husband's legacy lived on. But who was she? Cindy Landon, born Clerico, was born January 27, 1957, in Los Angeles, California. At first, she lived in Utah, but shortly afterwards moved back to Los Angeles with her mother. Cindy moved on to work in the movies in her 20s, which led her to the love of her life. In the mid-1970s, Cindy was hired as an extra on the set of Little House on the Prairie. Months earlier, while working as an extra on the set of the 1976 TV movie The Loneliest Runner, she saw Michael for the first time. He was the director of the movie, and Cindy straight away knew that he was special. She knew who Michael was since she watched Bonanza already as a young girl. "I looked at this man and I just thought he was the most extraordinary man I had ever seen," she recalled in a 1998 interview. It was not just his look, but there was something about his personality, about how he carried himself. There was a charisma about him and a strength that was just incredible. She would go on to work on the Little House series for 3 years, before the two became a couple. Michael and Cindy had 2 children. She gave birth to Jennifer Rachel Landon in 1983, with their son Matthew being born 3 years later. People thought he was extremely serious, but that wasn't Michael at all, Cindy told Closer Weekly in 2019. He was excited about his work, but he always came home happy. He was a fantastic father who was curious about everything and loved to teach the children. Michael also became a stepfather to Cindy's daughter, Cheryl Ann Pontrelli. Michael and Cindy's first daughter, Jennifer, would follow in her father's footsteps. Only 5 years of age, she starred on Highway to Heaven and went on to study drama at New York University. Jennifer went into the business straight away, working as a talent manager. Later, she would have great roles in series As the World Turns, Animal Kingdom, and Yellowstone. Speaking with Closer Weekly, Jennifer Landon spoke about her father Michael. Even though she'd seen him in many legendary roles, the best one he had was being a father. He was just the best. That doesn't mean we had free rein. There was a tremendous amount of respect and discipline that was implemented in our house. But my dad always made things so fun too, Jennifer said. He had this ability to make you feel like something magical could happen, or that you were on the edge of a discovery. Michael Landon had a successful acting career that spanned over more than 30 years. His passing in 1991 was of course heartbreaking for his family, but Cindy was committed to make sure his legacy lived on. After her husband passed away, Cindy felt that the media scrutiny was unbearable. She left to live in Europe with her children for 1 year, before moving back to Malibu, California. Now, Cindy is the president of the Michael and Cindy Landon Foundation. Although, she has been involved in events for Doctors Without Borders, Free Arts for Abused Children, and an advocate for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. Cindy's been fighting for animal rights since a young age. At the age of 14, she saw a movie about slaughterhouses and decided to become vegetarian. About 15 years ago, she also gave up eating dairy products. For decades, she's been involved in philanthropic efforts, and in her house in Malibu, California, the love for animals lives on. In an interview with the Malibu Times in 2017, she revealed that she had 8 dogs, which are mostly rescue, together with a 250-pound Mexican hairless pig, Rosie, who was a rescue from a lab in Utah. Rosie is said to be very well-mannered, according to Cindy. She sleeps in stables at night, but from time to time are welcome to come in the house. In 2017, she was also awarded the Philanthropist of the Year award, given by the non-profit animal protection group Last Chance for Animals, LCA. "My life is very busy, and it's always been that way," Cindy Landon told the Malibu Times. "I like being active and involved, but I also want time to do the things I love and enjoy in life, like travel and see my family." Over time, she's been getting more and more personally involved with the different causes she believes in. In 2016, she was the director and executive producer of the documentary Sanctuary, which is about chimpanzees being taken from their mothers. It tells the story of the humans that are doing everything they can to save the lives of the abused, unwanted, and abandoned animals, to give them a second chance to a good and healthy life. Together with James Cameron as the executive producer, Cindy also worked on the documentary The Game Changers in 2018. It follows a former mixed martial artist traveling the world, interviewing successful athletes that are living a vegan lifestyle. The documentary basically shows that we don't need to eat meat to be strong, Landon told the Malibu Times. "You don't do a documentary thinking you're going to make money. For me, it's all about creating awareness." Michael Landon was a loving man and husband, always helping people and giving money to charity. Cindy's been living the same life following her husband's passing, and through Instagram, she's shared some beautiful glimpses of their life together. In February, Cindy walked down memory lane, posting a photo of the two together with their children, Jennifer and Sean. "Wow, I took this photo many years ago. I found it going through my storage. It ended up in a coffee table book," she wrote. On July 1st, Cindy posted an emotional tribute to her husband, 19 years on the day after he passed. "July 1st, we said goodbye to you. You left us way too soon. You will always and forever be in our hearts. Memories last a lifetime," she wrote together with a picture of the entire family. Decades later, there's no doubt that fans, friends, and family all still see Michael Landon as a loving man and television star. Even though time goes by, it's hard not to get emotional while thinking about loved ones that passed many years ago. But nonetheless, we're sure that Cindy still remembers him as a wonderful man and husband, just as we see their marriage as true love. Please share this story with friends and family to honor Michael Landon.